Well, hi, thanks for talking to me. It's nice to see you again. I
Hey,
really enjoyed the first 5 episodes we got. Um,
yay.
so to start off, obviously when we left him at the end of last season, he had, finished his assessment and everything. And Maurice became the deacon, but he's not necessarily the one that's doing a lot of the work this season.
hmm
So can you sort of talk about how Reginald's kind of pushing that and, trying to make things better for the vampires?
Yeah. I think, I mean, the first two episodes were really about the council meeting and everything, but I think, after the arrival of Valestro, it sort of became like we were going to drop all this stuff and figure out how to stop this. But up until that point, I think Reginald really enjoyed the administrative part of being a vampire. And so I think that was really fun. But I think as far as like Maurice trying to take ownership of being the deacon, it's definitely going to be a challenge for him throughout the series or throughout the season. But Reginald is going to be able to use his power, like Maurice's power, to help us sort of hopefully beat the angels.
Yep.
Yeah,
Can you sort of tease Reginald's relationship with Sarah this season and where that's going? Because obviously it's a bit
yeah.
named after
Well,
Leslie.
it's yeah. I mean, it's definitely very complicated. I think again at the beginning of of season two, we sort of see them reach this agreement where like they're just kind of giving each other space to really see where they want to be, and that relationship becomes crazy and complicated throughout the entire season, and ultimately, I mean, the whole show and as a whole definitely ends on a cliffhanger. So,
Is there anything else you can tease about the season for people who haven't seen it? What's to come?
oh, what's to come? Yeah, I think there's going to be a lot of surprise characters with surprise powers. Um, a lot of our characters have like crazier, deeper storylines that we're going to tell, and just a lot of unexpected like surprises.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Talk about how being a vampire has changed him for the good, because obviously it's a curse, but it's also, I think, made him
Yeah.
a better person in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I think what's made him realize is that it doesn't matter who you are. It's like it doesn't matter like what you are. It's like what the actions you do and like how you sort of carry yourself through those things. So he definitely has become a better like person, but I think he will still have his struggles throughout this season. And I think for Reginald, it really has just given him his place in life.
Do you think he realizes that necessarily, though?
I think he sort of like unwillingly, well, like I guess I guess willingly, but he's sort of slow to taking the role of the hero, and I think his sort of selflessness is the catalyst for him becoming, or like taking him to where you see him at the end of the show, at the end of the season. Yeah.
Can you talk about working with the blood? Because it sounds like from when I talk to other people that you don't necessarily enjoy that like they do.
No, it's definitely interesting to work with. I think you get sticky in places that you don't particularly like to be sticky in, and it tastes really good for like the first two takes, but then after the third one, you're kind of just like, can we please just move on and like cover me in like shaving cream so I can clean myself?
You're kind of over it at a certain point, huh?
Yeah.
What else do you still find challenging about the show? Like, is there anything you still struggle with other than not liking the blood?
No, I think for all of us, it's sort of just like like when you're like on vacation, summer break, and you all come back to like school. It sort of just feels like that. We're very close, and we know how to work with each other. I think the main thing is like the word memorization. We do a lot of words per minute, so
You guys seem like you have a lot of fun on the set. Are you somebody who has a hard time not like cracking up during takes, or is that not something?
oh man, there's this. It's so hard for me to not laugh because I feel like when I watch everyone, they're so talented and so good. But like there'll be some things because the writing is so good, and because they're acting so well, it is just so funny. Like I just cannot help myself. There's just one thing that I can't spoil, but it's. I remember the day we filmed it. It was the funniest thing that like it was just hilarious. Like and I yeah, it was really funny.
How has this show changed you, and have you? Is there anything it's taught you about yourself?
I'm actually like I feel like the one thing that has taught me about myself is that I'm a lot better at memorizing words than I thought. I feel like I empty out my brain for the day and just like think of those words constantly, and then I forget the next day what we did because I was just too busy memorizing words. But I've also learned that I do like to work a lot.
Is there any way your life's changed since you've gotten this role?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when we do press interviews, I'm answering a lot of questions now. That's probably the
That's
hardest
true.
thing. But no, I think it was just a very special time, like thing to be a part of, and just having the ability to like do this has just been it's been really I've been lucky.
All right. Well, tell me
Yeah.
then, what's been like your favorite memory from working on the show? Even last season is fine.
Man, my favorite memory. Oh gosh, there's a couple for sure. There's this one episode in this season where we film a scene where we're all like the cast is all together and it's supposed to be this very sweet moment. And it just like I remember that day feeling so grateful to be around all those people, just to like work with them and like see them have a great time. That was so special. And then man, the first season had to be like the first night of working on the show when it was like Mandela and I, and we were just like breaking ground on this like different, hopefully good show that like we had no idea was gonna work. And like seeing it all like this now is crazy.
Yeah, you did. I think you were talking about the one thing I was going to ask you. Obviously, there's a very more serious episode this season, which surprised me.
Mhm.
Do you like which do you find easier, the comedy or the drama? Because obviously you do a lot of comedy. I assume that might be
I
easier
think
for you.
what's harder is definitely drama. I mean, comedy, because I think with drama, you know, you're sort of emotionally charged to really sort of reach those peaks. But with comedy, it's you have to be so specific and so like no like timing and joke telling and the sort of like setup situation. Um, you know, being dramatic is we're all dramatic. So
Do you like that more though, or do you just like each the same?
um, I, I like finding different flavors for sure. I like seeing like different colors and the shape of like funny but sad, like sad but hopeful, or happy but like resigned. All these things. So,
All right. What
yeah.
would be your dream role? Usually people say Marvel movies, but you've already done that. So
Yeah.
what would be something you would
Um,
love to do?
you know, it's hard to say. I don't necessarily have a crazy role. Like I really like movies like Sorry to Bother You. Um, maybe something like that,
Somebody
or
you want to
I don't
work
know. I
with
really like
even?
anything Joaquin Phoenix has done. Maybe things like that. I'd like to be like a cool like mob boss gangster guy, maybe. So like really any like just anything.
Do you look for something specific when you're deciding whether or not to take a role?
I definitely look at if the story is interesting or it draws me in, regardless of what character I play. I think I'm more interested in how everything is sort of resolved. Like if I feel like I can kind of predict what happens in the first maybe like 60 pages, I might not enjoy it. But if I like am hit with like a bunch of like crazy stuff that happens, I think that really gets me going.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot going on in this show. Is there
Yeah.
a favorite scene this season that you can tease that maybe is not super spoilery, or that's maybe in the first episode that
Yeah, the first 5 episodes. Oh man. Okay. Gosh, I think like maybe like this when when our angel first appears and he we have this one exchange where it's like you are smart in the ways of the world, and he like is so like just I remember that day he was so funny because he genuinely I really believed that he didn't know like he didn't know any earthly things. So like that's probably
and
like episode three, maybe 2 or 3.
I don't know, but he very
Yeah.
much likes that line too.
Yeah.
That he's a bit stuck on that. All
Yeah.
right. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to getting
Thanks.
and seeing the rest of the season. So
Thank you so much.
have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, you too.
Bye bye.